organization, and thought I'd go live today and talk about an email that we just sent out. You may be aware, we're as an organization, as a political action committee, we send out email to our supporters, people that are on our email list that have donated, volunteered. And we do a lot of online actions, petitions, surveys, letter writing campaigns, various other things that we do online to organize. And this cycle, we've started to get a lot of people signing up for our list that aren't necessarily supporters. And they just sign up, and when they receive emails, they send nasty messages back for some reason. I don't understand. I assume gives them some sense of power or control that they can respond back to an email that they receive that they signed up for, even if they don't like the organization. And me, as one of our volunteers, I'm the one that responds and reads all the emails that come in. Now, generally, I don't share those with the rest of the team. Some of it's really positive, some of it's really negative. But I felt it was illustrative about a concept in kind of anti-racist organizing that people need to think about, which is the idea of microaggressions. And as a cisgendered white male, upper middle class, I'm quite privileged. I can, I don't feel concerned walking down the street. If I see a cop, it doesn't make my heart skip a beat. If I go to the mall, I don't have people following me through various departments. I haven't been stopped by a police officer in years. There's all kinds of little microaggressions, some more intense than others, that people of color and folks in low-income communities experience all the time, particularly in the African American and Latino communities. And working with No Justice, No Peace has really been an eye-opener because, really we've tried to build an organization that is representing a diverse set of voices. And as such, the feedback we get can be a bit more negative. And so today we made the decision that we're going to start sharing some of that email feedback we get with the public. We're going to hide folks' identities as far as the respondents with their email addresses and names for the time being. We are trying to reach out to folks when they send us negative messages to try to encourage a dialogue, because we don't want to just use this as a gotcha moment on folks, but we think it is an opportunity to try to educate and engage and show that we can lead towards justice with love and not just anger and disgust and hate. But still important to confront these moments, particularly as folks that don't experience this sort of aggression regularly, like myself. I think it's important for people to see. So I'll warn you, as we're getting into this, there's some of these emails that I'm going to share on the screen are pretty nasty. There's language that I would never say, that I would never encourage anyone to use. There's some real hate and anger. And then there's some more subtle, passive emails that use some pretty clear tropes that are racialized and negative that folks need to pay attention to. But I'm not sharing everything that we get. And I'll tell you, more of our feedback is positive than negative most of the time. So that I'm heartfelt about. And so before I get into it, I do encourage you to make sure that you have your plan to vote next week. If you haven't already voted early by mail, now is the period of time where you should probably go to your local election office and vote early in person. If you've already received a ballot and you haven't mailed it yet, please drop it at your local election office. Don't necessarily put it in the mail. Follow your local laws, but you don't want to be in a situation where it doesn't make it through the postal service before Tuesday, because this administration has made it clear that they're going to try to not count all the votes. So make sure to get those ballots in. So with that, I'll show you some of these emails. The first one is going to be one of the, how would I put it, more subtle emails that we've received, but it's not really subtle at all. And this was in response to an email we sent out last week. Reverend Rob Johnson, who works with No Justice, No Peace, has been traveling the state with Al Womble and some other folks doing voter registration. And he shared some stories about his time on the road and fear for his safety while he was out there. And we sent out an email to our list about it. And a gentleman named Craig replied to an email where we were promoting an event we were doing with a number of African-American and Latino leaders, Matthew Gilbert from here in Des Moines, Ryan Stevenson from up in Waterloo, Steve Villatoro of the Iowa Democratic Party Hispanic Caucus, Mark Rocha of Communication Workers of America and has been involved with LULAC. And this gentleman was responding to that email. And he says, it looks like a Motown recording session or a cast call for a Tarzan movie. A cast call for a Tarzan movie. That is Tarzan as a film has been known, and as a story has been known as very much wrapped up in all kinds of imperialist and racist tropes and stereotypes. And that email is referring to that. And it's something that, we've seen references, it's similar to appeals and saying that somebody comparing people of color to primates, chimpanzees, gorillas. Those are tropes and racist ideas that have been around for a long time. And we get a lot of that kind of feedback back into our email. And Craig, if you're watching this or you happen to come across this and recognize your email to us, please reach out. We'd like to have a conversation with you. Private, confidential. We feel that bringing people together to talk and meet face to face is the best way to dissolve those prejudices and those ideas and to bring people together. So please get in touch if you see this, Craig. Next email, and actually the next two are somebody named Joan. And Joan signed one of our polls where we were doing an approval survey for Donald Trump. And clearly Joan decided that they were a Trump supporter, and they supported Amy Coney Barrett's nomination to the Supreme Court. And some reason Joan is staying on our email list. Now I have looked up Joan and I know where Joan is from. Joan's from Pennsylvania, actually. But calling us insane and mentally ill, which is wrong in and of itself to use those stigmatized terms as a way to criticize a group or an individual or an organization. Calling us, quote, motherfucker commies and baby murderers. This is a little bit less on the racist side of things, but is more focused on just general progressive hits. But showing her next email will disabuse you of the idea that Joan from Pennsylvania is just anti-progressive. She's got some strong words. And so too, like this is the event that folks were responding to. This is the email that this was sent out to folks that folks have been sending some of these negative messages back to. And then the final email I'm going to share is also from Joan, talking about us being a Soros-funded BLM, referring to Black Lives Matter, and using the N-word, a number of different things, and referencing a number of tropes related to communities of color and race, telling folks using the R word, telling people to go back to Africa, a number of different attacks. This is one of the worst emails that we have received. But I would still say to Joan out there in Pennsylvania, I know you're on our email list, and so you may follow us on social media. I have no idea. Get in touch. We'd like to have a conversation, because we think there's an opportunity, Joan, for us to see and meet your perspective and for you to look our team face to face, to Rob and Al and others, and have a conversation about what is the way to come together and recognize all of our own shared humanity. I think there's an opportunity for us to do that. So that's why I wanted to share some of those messages. I mean, respond in the comments, email us, hit us up via DM on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, or through our website at nojusticepac.org. Because I think it's important for this conversation to continue, and it's something that we're going to do regularly. I mean, some politicians do mean tweets, and I guess we're doing mean emails. And maybe when we're large enough, people will start getting more engaged on the social media side. So thank you for all that you do. Thanks for watching. My name's Mark Langen. Again, I'm one of the founders at No Justice, No Peace and New Frontier Action Fund. And been helping stand up these organizations, and really excited about the work that Reverend Rob Johnson, Al Womble, Diamond Denny, like our entire team have just been doing incredible work, and really proud of what they do and how they stand up to adversity, and have really are pushing forward through next week with voter registration all over the state, going into communities and areas that Democrats generally don't pay attention to, trying to find and pull all kinds of votes out of the state to participate in our democracy. So make sure you've got your plan to vote. Be sure to turn out on Tuesday. Be in touch if you have questions. Be sure to visit our website at nojusticepac.org. If you can chip in $5, $10 or more, it's very much appreciated. So thank you, and signing off.